Bizarre Brain Comics. Oh, hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Sorry I'm playing my music so loud, but it's to drown out the Elvis playing upstairs. so, and so this time I want to go through a stack of Jack Kirby. Jack King Kirby. Some of Kirby's more unconventional stuff, unconventional comic titles. And of course, Jack Kirby, born Jacob Kurtzberg, World War II veteran, co-creator of Captain America, Timely, 1941, and did a whole bunch of stuff there, and fought in the war, and then did a whole bunch of stuff afterwards. Basically helped create the romance comics as a genre, and crime comics, and all kinds of stuff. Of course, best known for his work at Marvel in the 60s, co-creating virtually everything with Fantastic Four, the Incredible Hulk. Actually contributed a little bit to the creation of Spider-Man, and Thor, and all kinds of other things. Of course, moved to DC, what was it, 1970 or just after, and created a whole bunch of stuff there, and then back to Marvel in the mid-70s, and then on to some independent stuff in the 80s, and a lot of stuff for animation and the like. So here we're going to start here with issue number 1 of 2001: A Space Odyssey from 1975 by Jack Kirby, with written and drawn by Jack Kirby. I think it was, Mike Royer did the inks and lettering. Mike Royer was primary inker on Kirby's pencils for many years, just as he had been primary inker on Russ Manning's work for several years before that. And of course, Jack Kirby, this is 2001. He had initially done an adaptation of the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, which was published in the large tabloid-sized Treasury edition books, and I plan on eventually doing a deep dive into that one, and then had a continuing title which lasted for about a year or so, of 2001, based on some of the concepts in the movie. And this is just a great cover. It has the caveman versus the saber-toothed tiger here, and here's the astronauts somewhere in deep space up against some horrible tentacled monster thingy. And of course these had the because these would usually start sometime in the past, usually in prehistory, historic humans or hominids. This is hominid, and then have a second part with astronauts and stuff, and they were roughly related. Okay, so that's issue 1. And here is issue 2. It says, a fiery female makes the century's trip from the caves to eternity. Vera, the she-demon. Here she is. Who has enough to scare the crap out of any man. If I get past the commercials, the ads, and there's some alien stuff in there with the astronaut. Again, get past the ads, and there she is again. Oh, and that issue 2. Then issue number 3, begin a new journey to the stars and beyond. He took the road to conquest and found the stars. Marak the Merciless. And this looks more like more advanced, but still primitive, in a barbaric age. Oh yeah, this is probably Bronze Age. And geez, all the ads, can't get through the ads. But this one covers most of that issue, and then the second part is continued in the next issue, number 4, when Wheels of Death, as Doom pursued him, his new life began. All these great dynamic covers, and of course the interiors, and of course Kirby was known for that, and has some great panel compositions too. Like oh, look, this double page spread. You can see so much going on in the foreground and the background. Whether it's barbaric and of course Kirby was very interested in the ancient astronaut. Eric von Däniken stuff concept. Whether he believed it or not is unclear. It doesn't matter. It helped him inspire him to a whole bunch of a lot of his stuff, and of course that's right here in 2001. He with his New Gods. Oh, geez, I'll get it. With the New Gods at DC, and again the Eternals back at Marvel again. And I think that that was a continuing theme in his work for decades. And it's issue 5. This is how we're kind of coming around to some more comic book oriented type things. And then remember in 2001, well, we'll get to it. I don't have any here. So he sought to escape the future. The monolith showed him the way. Enter a strange world where dreams and nightmares come true in Norton of New York. And Norton of New York, 2040 AD. Jeez. And it's some more superhero-y looking stuff, but of course it was based on comic. Jeez, so many ads to get to anything real. It's issue 5, and here is issue 6. Behold us, Harvey Norton, we are doomed for you and your planet Earth. Or we are doomed for you and join an awesome cosmic manhunt. The prize, immortality. The penalty, death. And then the last one I've got, I may have one or two other issues somewhere else, but these were all together. If I do, if I still have them, I don't know. So at last, the most fantastic revelation of them all, the new seed. No telling where it was going. Spawned by the monolith. Is it savior or destroyer? This is issue number 7. It's getting close to the end of then in the course of the ongoing storyline, created Mr. Machine, who was later known as Machine Man, and that character was rolled into the main Marvel universe, having nothing to do thereafter with 2001: A Space Odyssey. And then, of course, in 1983, from PC Comics, Pacific Comics, The Next Breed, issue 1 of Silver Star, a visual novel. Meet Morgan Miller, Homo Geneticus. And here is of course, this is kind of stepping back into a little bit more of the superhero mold, but it's more than that. And in a way, it's a little bit like his Ben Boxer character that we saw in Commandy, and more than that. But here we go. And this, of course, features the origin. I did a few months ago. I did a deep dive into, I think it was issue 3 of Silver Star, and this covers his origin with that that briefly covered it as well. course, Silver Star, he's like an ultimate mutant, and has incredible powers. Of course, it started in the Vietnam War, but then it has a backup story in here, which is, if I can get to it, which is not by Kirby, but is Last of the Viking Heroes, as created, written, and drawn by Mike Thibodeau. And I think at this time Mike Thibodeau was this primary inker. No, this is still Mike Royer in there, but in there. But this one is inked by Alfredo Alcala, and Last of the Viking Heroes was, of course, sword and sorcery, which doesn't really go with the main theme of the main title. There's some interesting stuff. It had a series of as backup stories here, and then had a limited issue series a couple years later. And I've got a graphic novel of that, graphic album of that. So it's 1983. Then we step way back again. Is Kamandi, the Last Boy on Earth. Of course, Kirby's answer to the Planet of the Apes, and most probably inspired by a science fiction story he had done back in the 50s for Shock from Shock Comics from Harvey. And of course, and this was one of my favorite titles at the time, and it just went downhill as soon as Kirby left the title. It went downhill. So this is issue number 10. It has the giant bats. They are up against being invaded by and fighting the Batmen. Oh, just pure Kirby imagination and goodness. That's number 10. This was what 73, I think. Yeah, 73. And then we take a bigger jump to Kamandi issue number 29. This would be 74, 75? 75. And this is one that is an interesting one because it deals with the legend of Superman. And there's a super suit, and these gorillas are trying to bring back the Mighty One, who, as they call Superman. So they don't know what has happened to Superman. And then here is issue number 33. This is dealing with like an alien. Professor, that thing you created, it's a... We don't know. And last one. And has the ads everywhere. Ads. The comics today don't have these kind of ads, but which kind of like some of them, but it's some kind of weird thing that Dr. Canis. And then back over at Marvel is this Devil Dinosaur. I did a more detailed look at several issues of Kamandi just a couple of months or so ago. And I don't think any of these issues were in there. And then I did a deep dive here into Devil Dinosaur. Probably over a year ago now. I can't remember. And I love Devil Dinosaur, but only Kirby's. Any time anybody else tries some Devil Dinosaur, they just screw it up. Like that current newer Devil Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and I don't like that at all. Even got that animated series based on it, and it stinks. I tell you, it stinks. And but here, this is good at Devil Dinosaur, and I think this is just my personal opinion, but I think the Devil Dinosaur, because his main character is Moon Boy, I think that was inspired by the hominids from the first part of 2001: A Space Odyssey. And because even in the book, that was like called Moon Gazer or Moon Dreamer, something like that. So I think that's where he got Moon Boy. And and stuck him in with the dinosaurs. And of course, his devil dinosaur is supposed to be a T-Rex, even though it's got too many fingers. It's very unconventional looking, but it works. And number 3, this is what Marvelous 77. If I can see it there, 1978. That's issue number 3. Here's issue number 4, Objects from the Sky. I think, yeah, this is dealing, see, and this is, again, dealing with the ancient astronaut concept. With these alien beings coming and being nasty. And then issue number 5, in an age of monsters, he was mightiest of all, Devil Dinosaur. Neither man nor monster can long survive in the kingdom of the ants. And this was a good, it's a good one, real good one. Stomping those giant ants right and left, and still has the alien beings. I think they're alien robots. And this was close to the end of the run of Devil Dinosaur. And I've got the graphic album reprinting all of Kirby's Devil Dinosaur, which wasn't that much, but I just loves me my Devil Dinosaur. So that is what I have to share with you this time. Some really cool Kirby goodness all the way around. And I want to thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think of all of this Kirby unconventional title stuff. Silver Star, even though it was a little bit more on the lines of the superhero, it's still very unconventional. And of course, these others were definitely unconventional. And there's some great, I mean, Kirby at his peak, at the peak of his powers and imagination. So thank you for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, and remember, comics are art.